Welcome to the Kee To Growth Podcast, Home Services Marketing Unlocked, with me, your host, Jen McKee. Every week, I sit down with top marketers in the trades, from the brains behind $100 million companies to those scaling from 1 to 3, even to 10 million, breaking down exactly how they got where they are and uncover the secret to their success. If you're ready to grow your business and get real, actionable insights, you are in the right place. Let's unlock the key to your marketing success, starting now.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Kee To Growth Podcast. I am your host, Jen McKee, and per usual, I am super excited about our guest that we have today. I feel like if you don't know who she is, then you're probably not in the HVAC industry, because she is, I would say, one of the most known women in the industry, and that is due to her extensive knowledge on the industry, her extensive support for women in the industry, and just the HVAC industry in general, and of course her marketing expertise, which we'll get into today. But I'll let her introduce herself. Colleen Keyworth, tell everybody who you are in case they haven't been around and paying attention.
My name is Colleen Keyworth. I am the VP of Sales and Marketing for Online Access. Online Access is a digital marketing solutions company for contractors and only contractors. So we only work in home services. And we also, what's unique to us is we have our own contracting company too, which is a 65-year-old family business. So we have kind of a bit of both. We've been in the trades for a long time. So my father and uncle are both tradesmen, plumber and technician. So they have all the licenses for the businesses. Then we also have my brother works for a wholesaler as a very successful TM. And my husband is the branch manager for another distributor. And my cousin is also in the industry. And I fell into it. And I have another brother who also works for the digital marketing company. So we're not leaving anytime soon. I just kind of fell into it by family, like many, many people in the trades, and never got out.
Yeah. And so when you were a kid, did you ever imagine this? Like that this?
I hated it. Like I think almost every podcast I've been at probably has a soundbite of me being like, I hated the trades. I was a punk kid. I did not appreciate what I had. I had a lot of odd jobs growing up. I was a lifeguard for a very, very long time. And then during college, when I was going to the local community college, I did part-time working for the family business.
Okay.
And that was emergency service and being on weekends and having to answer phone calls. And like, we were still in like dot matrix stuff. And like, it was pretty rough, and doing happy calls where you're actually calling customers. That was my least favorite job ever. And I was a punk kid, and I left a shift in the afternoon to go do something. And I missed a very, very important call. And in the meantime, my cousin had come into the office behind me and knew it was so bad. And then I got back and finished my shift and everything like that. And then my uncle asked me about it, and I totally lied about it, that I did not call, because again, punk kid.
Yeah.
And my cousin definitely ratted me out and was like, yeah, she was gone. So my uncle, as he should have, promptly fired me. And and that was the beginning of a lot of different things for Colleen. So I went, I did kayak tours in the Everglades. I did amateur rodeo stuff and taught horseback riding and did several summer camps and stuff. I worked a lot of crazy odd jobs just about, in Florida and in northern Michigan and Wyoming and all these different places and stuff. And I had to like come back and do like a real job. And it was around that time that I was doing weddings professionally. And so I did professional wedding planning for about 4 years. I did childcare, greeting card stalker. I did a whole bunch of
on and on
odd jobs. And then my dad was like, you'd be really good at sales. And it took somebody else telling me that I'd be really good at sales to be like, okay, fine, I'll take a shot on this job. And that was in like 2012, roughly. And
this was the Online Access.
Yeah.
So this is marketing.
The marketing side of the business. So they'd been running the marketing company simultaneously to the contracting company for many years before me. My sister actually worked in the business before I did. So now my sister works at HubSpot.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. And I've been working here for almost the last 13, 14 years. So
yeah. Okay. So did you have a marketing background before you got put into sales?
Not at all. Actually, I think this might be the first time on a podcast saying this, but I actually wanted to be a radio DJ.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
Yeah, like a radio personality, host type of deal, like what I have down on my yearbook stuff out of high school. And I actually took radio a little bit in college and then just kind of fizzled out on it. End up pursuing that at all. Then got into marketing. But I think it was really not necessarily working at the marketing company company, but getting the opportunity to see on a national level how big the industry is, the trade shows, the people, the customers, business itself, as far as how it's run and how these different other family businesses and how they run. And I just really got a passion for that.
Yeah. So I love that you wanted to be a radio DJ. I feel like sometimes our past does kind of like shape who we are. And you're definitely a speaker. You're also a connector, and you're super involved in a lot of different organizations. And I told Colleen I wanted to bring this up. And like sometimes when you're really close to things, you feel like you talk about them all the time. But I know that some of you guys listening to this may not even know all of the support that is available. I don't know if available is the right word, but it is like all of the support out there and resources and networking that you can do within the industry. And Colleen's like hugely involved. So tell us your favorite one. No, but tell us. I'm just kidding.
I do have a favorite, and it might surprise you, actually.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. So as a wide scope, for me personally, I obviously am indebted for a lot of my personal growth and my journey growing up in this industry to, of course, being involved in Women HVACR. Most people know me from Women HVACR. That was a good 9 years of my career, and it was definitely a passion project and something that the way I can say it is absolutely grew up in. I have some amazing mentors through that and some best friends. And I have always have a passion for Women HVACR. It's also nice to close that chapter and go into a lot of other different things that's opened doors for. Women HVACR will always be at the core for a lot of the stuff that I'm involved in now and the connections I've made over the years. And I recommend anybody just get involved in that type of an organization that gives you that type of network.
Yeah.
So additionally to that, I have been involved in my local ACA chapter for a long time. So our local state level ACA. And so I'm on the board for that. I do the secretary for that position. And I want to pour more into that. So that's kind of a nice thing, is now being able to roll off of certain positions, I'm able to give more of my time to others. And additionally, I'm on a Hardy Council. Hardy, easily probably my favorite industry event. There's a lot of best practice groups we're involved in. Hardy, as far as the distribution channel and just the content and the people, I love working with distributors. That is my favorite channel of choice to work with as a marketing company and a vendor. And Hardy easily to me represents some of the highest caliber content that helps me direct our business to the right place in the right time.
Yeah.
And I really think I've said for a long time, like partnerships with Hardy has been a huge part of our business, but also like the programs they offer, like emerging leaders and being able to do any of their councils, which I'm on their HR and DEB counseling, basically like, hiring practices and engagement practices and stuff. And so that's a really fun place to learn a lot from different people about what they're doing to find good people. And I have a lot of background with that, doing the women's stuff. So Hardy's probably easily a favorite. I've said before that the emerging leaders program that I've already graduated from over there, it's just easily come back in my life as being that core group of people that I always have that are peers of mine, that we still get together. We still have group chats together. We still have attaboys. We see each other in articles and stuff like that. So it's a whole bunch of people that are at the same level you're in the industry, and they're being tagged for leadership positions, but you end up going through this course and this program together and learning, but you also form this like alumni group ability that just is always there. And I am so grateful for that network. It's one of my favorite things. And I encourage anybody to get in a program like that.
For sure. I love
and
that.
Then finally, of course, the international stuff.
Yeah.
I also have to mention things like the EGIA Foundation board. I mean, me and you do the golf tournament together this last year. Pretty fun. Yeah. But the international stuff is winding down. So in WIC, which is
president, right?
Yeah, as the immediate past president now. Least favorite position. I'm going to be honest. Like anybody who's had to do immediate past president role, it's rough because you're 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. They're like, we want you to stay. We want your knowledge, but at the same time you're leaving. So we also want to do things on our own. You're just like, okay, cool. But the INWIC stuff is still so new. It's the International Network of Women in Cooling. It is underneath UNEP and World Refrigeration Day. The UNEP is the United Nations Environmental Programs, and World Refrigeration Day. Both of them put together the secretariat of the group, and there's roughly 17 partners all over different countries that make up the board. Women HVACR is on there, ASHRAE is on there, and several other amazing organizations. And I have made some amazing international contacts. Like AHR every year now, we get together, we have a dinner, we are able to connect. And I feel like the cooler thing too is now that I've started to travel with them, the last 2 years I've done 10 countries. And
that's so cool.
It's kind of nice having friends in like different countries and stuff that you can go see, and like learning quite a bit about the way they do business.
Right.
I learned a lot about the industry, a lot about different types of businesses and the models that they're using internationally and what kind of affects what we do here in the States and where we're at. So it's given me a really cool perspective and kind of an appreciation for what we have too.
Yeah.
I'm going back one last time. So I'm going to Milan and Paris in June. I'm bringing Carol Longacre with me because what's fun if you can't bring a friend?
Right.
So we're going to be there.
That's
so she's coming with me on that trip. And so we're going to the European Conference in Milan, doing a panel there that I'm going to do with some of my friends. friends there, and then heading over to Paris and then working with some people over there too. So I'm so super excited to see a lot of the friends over there.
Yeah, look at where your life led you. See, you were teaching horseback riding.
It sounds so obnoxious when I say it like that. But I will say, once you grip the band-aid off of international travel, it's so much easier than you think.
Yeah.
And I've definitely got the bug for it. So my husband and I are constantly like, okay, should we repair and upgrade the bathroom, or should we go to Italy?
Always go to
all these
That's
choices.
Easy. That's easy. Okay. So that is, I just love that. You know, when I first started my business, I actually was told by someone, not in this industry, it was like in a local industry group, who told me to never be on a board for something. And like that comes back into my head because I think that's really bad advice. Like, I think that it's, like you said, like it's a really cool way to meet people really intentionally and to give back to a community that's important to you. And so it is a lot of work, especially depending on, I mean, if you're the president, that's a lot of work. But
there are different types of boards. And so there are, and there's even a couple more I'm on that I didn't mention that aren't necessarily working boards, that they're like more advisories or and stuff like that, or like more advisory boards than anything. So there are advisory boards where, of course, like you're the advisory to a principal advisor to a company.
Yeah.
And you have maybe certain stock options, or else you're invested in it, like that. So there are a couple more of those I'm in now, that those are roles I enjoy, where I get to think about go-to-market strategies and just kind of share my knowledge and stuff, and be creative with different ways to see a product grow. Then there's, of course, working boards. Women HVACR working board as a group, it was a completely volunteer organization. But that one for sure, labor intensive for a long time,
right.
Obviously growing into itself and getting staff and all sorts of cool things. That one was, and I was blessed to be able to have the time to put to it and do my own job. And it was a lot of it was married together. So there was a lot of a connection there that, made it easy to do. And then of course, things like the EGIA board, which is foundation board, we meet like, twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. And then we talk about different objectives, but it's not as labor intensive. And so,
right.
And of course, the state level boards, we meet maybe like once a month or so, and we have like 3 big events, and it's really easy. And so there are certain levels of commitments where I can totally see that, because anybody that's been on a board can tell you it's almost like being back in high school and being in that group project. Where like one person does the work, one person gets the credit,
Yeah.
So there is a level of that, and anybody that, and even like serving on any board I've been in the industry, they all have their challenges, and they all have politics. And I did not know anything about politics when I was 27 and jumping into this for the first time. I was 26, 27 when I first started, and I was punk. I saw things and I was like, this could be better. We can fix it. We can make it better. And they're like, slow down, Tiger.
Right.
And I had to learn a lot, and it was not always pretty. But it was a great experience to learn, of course, things like professional email writing,
ChatGPT do that now.
Waiting your turn, staying
right.
Other things that I don't think are talked about enough, as far as even the way women relate to each other in a workplace. And I think some of those, I hate to even, like, everybody was thinking, like, you're bashing women. No, I think I'm calling out the fact that we have things that make us difficult to work with each other, and they're completely unique to the way men work together. So
so
it's just different things.
I think that, though, also being involved, it probably really helped grow your business. And so let's look at this from like a marketing standpoint. Sure. So for contractors, is this something that you ever talk to them about, as far as like, I mean, I know you guys focus on digital marketing, but like getting involved in your community is a form of networking. I mean, it's a great way to build relationships with people. Like, is that something that you guys, or that you do intentionally at this point? Obviously, as involved as you are, it's something that you enjoy, but it's also like a marketing tool.
So it is absolutely a tool. So I definitely will say there are places that online access gets to be because of the behind the scenes stuff that happens in the relationships made through all the different organization work and boards and everything like that. There are 100%, I can think of dozens, if not like 20 or 40 more cases where we would not be there if it weren't for these relationships.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have access, because some things are a limited playing field for certain vendors, especially, I'm going to be honest, especially marketing companies.
Yeah.
And there are so many of us out there.
Yeah.
It can be very competitive. And I'm very blessed to say that doing this for 25 years and having the relationships we do, and even me working through women, was a huge part of that, because I think you said it earlier, having a podcast opened doors, right? For you, like being a part of Women HVACR, nobody closed their doors to that. If you say, hey, can we get a part, can we participate in your show, get a free table, something like that from Women HVACR, and then you get to know the showrunners and you're like, hey, I also have a company that I'd like to sponsor and participate. And so of course that leads into other relationships. So HVACR for sure opens lots of different doors to a lot of the connections and organization trade shows and stuff that we've worked with. And that goes for anybody that's been on the board. I mean, that's been a pretty cool opportunity for a lot of us to really kind of expand our network. I would say the other side of it is when we talk to our contractors, we're doing community engagement marketing. We're doing, we're offering them those tools in order to utilize their websites better. And we're trying to figure out how to capitalize really on the philanthropic efforts they're already doing and they're already doing in their community. They're already giving, they're already supporting. Not a single contractor we work with isn't doing some form of charity. A lot of them are afraid to be braggadocious about it. And the other side of it is getting involved in things like your chamber of commerce, like your Rotary clubs and your realtors associations and your city councils and everything like that. And I have a lot of successful contractors who intentionally make the time for those organizations because they're rubbing elbows with the community leaders that make the decisions for some of the biggest things that go on in their city, whether they're parades or sidewalk sales or opportunities to sponsor events, or, maybe it's just referrals, like literal just referrals of the people that you meet using you because they know you. And those are the companies I find that have the best top of mind awareness, which in turn completely obliterates people that have no top of mind awareness, especially when it comes to search. People think, okay, yeah, I'm on the first page. That's all I need to be. No, you need to be on the first page, but then people need to know who you are to click on you. Right. And that's the other side of the commitment that so many contractors are like, well, I just need to be on the first page and nobody's calling me. What's going on? Well, they don't know who you are. It won't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of that brand awareness also helps at your branded searches, which then helps you spend less money on marketing overall.
Sure.
So beneficial in every way. So I asked you this earlier because as marketers, we always have something that we're like constantly going to yell about until someone starts listening. And so I want to know what your marketing soapbox is right now.
Oh, I have two of them. I guess now we've categorized it as a soapbox. I have two of them. And if you've ever heard me speak at ever event, I feel like you get in on this too, Jen. My number one soapbox I've had for the last 10 years of my life has been take real pictures.
Yes, oh my gosh. When I heard you talk at one of the Marketing Pro events, that was like the one thing I remember you talking about. And I'm like, absolutely. And you had this shot list. It inspired me to create a shot list that I give to all of my contractors. And I specifically say, this is for your marketing company, not just us. Like your marketing company needs these too. Give them to a photographer, get this taken care of.
I built that before ChatGPT and we still have that shot list. I wish, that's actually a great idea. I might take that shot list, put it in ChatGPT and let's expand upon it. Let's make here's a to-do list.
Yes.
But I was saying for years, we beg contractors for pictures. We beg contractors for real photos. And I don't care what size you are. I love how everybody's all like, but I'm only a two-man shop. I don't care. That is the coolest thing about marketing is you can fake it till you make it. You can be as big or as small as you want to be portrayed.
For sure.
And having real pictures is huge. Everybody is sick of seeing stock photos on sites and having a picture of your truck, having a picture of your sign, having a picture of somebody answering the phones in an office. Staging all this stuff makes you look real and people trust real. They want to know that they can see you in their community and be like, hey, that's Bob. He owns, AccuTemp Air. And that's a big deal because I know Bob. And these are things that people take for granted. And I get angry about this. And I feel like this, obviously I'm getting passionate, I'm getting really worked up. But because it's one of the things that I feel never gets followed through on Nobody really has an excuse because everybody has a cell phone. And honestly,
I know there's really no excuses.
There's no excuse, but it is time. And I understand sometimes text can be like herding cats and getting them together and getting them in a uniform and everything, but it is literally free to do it. And it affects your social media. It affects your print marketing. It affects your website. It affects your ad landing pages. It affects any of your published stuff that you're putting out there or anything like that. It is a huge deal. And it's a trust factor for your customers to see real photos because one of the one things that all those big companies do have, they have real photos.
Yeah. Well, and also if you think about the money that you're investing in your website, at least, I want to say at least 10 grand, but you're investing a lot of money in your website. Then you're investing a lot of money in all of your other marketing channels. Any other marketing channel, you're spending a couple grand a month on per marketing channel, if that. And so you're already about $25,000 a month invested in this, and you won't spend $1,000 to get a photographer to come out so that your content is substantially better. And it would literally elevate every single other marketing channel that you're doing and easily. And I use a photographer yearly. She just raised her price to $700. She gives me 80 photos. I've had her come out to clients that are local and same thing. She did a great job. And then you can use those photos on every single bit of marketing. thing. Have your team sign a little, like agree to my face or whatever, which is not that. I mean, we do that for our kids. We do that every gym that you've joined, you've signed something about that. Every organization that you're a part of, every contract you sign, you have agreed already to use your face. And so it's not that weird. Have your team sign it, get a photographer out, spend 2 hours one day.
Social media policy as far as photo policy,
as
far as a waiver form. And you can even have ChatGPT help you write one if you need one. Like,
right.
It is so easy. And I feel like, and I'm going to be harsh here, but I feel like there's a laziness attached to it. And it's like, everybody wants to like pay other people to do stuff for them. I get that. But not a single one of us, whether your websites, whether your social media, whether you're doing branding for people, whatever, can do our jobs without having your participation and a piece of you in it. Because a third-party company is never going to be able to represent your business without your input.
Yeah, 100%. I just posted it on my Facebook the other day. Like, once you spend money, you have to invest your time. And sometimes you don't do that. And then you realize too late, like, dang it, I just wasted a bunch of money because I didn't do what I needed to do in order to make it work for me.
I feel like they beg for it. And sometimes it's like the customers in our group, the customers that actually do what we ask for and like participate with us, even if they're calling and asking questions or, hey, I'm concerned about this or I don't understand this, something like that. I love that. You know what? Like, you're engaged. And if you're engaged, that means that we're getting it right. Like, we're able to get it right because we're doing what you're looking for. We're not just guessing. And it's hard. And that is my biggest soapbox, is probably the pictures. The other one is, of course, like everybody kind of assuming what a website does for them. And of course, we work with a wide range of contractors, but I would say the majority of this industry is the smaller guys. And being a smaller outfit, you have money. Money is very precious to you because, of course, you have limited things, limited finances, and you can only invest in so many things. And when you invest it, you want to see a return. And I totally believe in that. But there is no silver bullet. And I think everybody said that once or twice. Like, there's no silver bullet. That does take your time too. And it is that effort that makes all the difference. So when you do choose something to invest in, if it's a website company, if it's, if it's social media marketing, whatever it is, you still have to give a piece of you. And so one thing that happens is, of course, like, oh my gosh, like, I pay you this, the phone's not ringing. Why is the phone not ringing? And of course, that gets back to, okay, cool. We're doing our half of the job. You are being found on the first page of the cities that you want to be found first page on. That is your organic SEO. And you're not doing any kind of paid marketing. That's fine. You're not doing paid ads because you're coming up organically. But if people don't know who you are, nobody is going to click on you. And so that, of course, gets into the community engagement stuff we talked about, the other pieces. The other side of it is websites, they trap, they don't hunt. People assume that when you build a website, it's like the field of dreams. You just build it and they will come.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not how any of it works. Even though your website easily will be the number one place more people will see your business than walking into your office, it's still built to convert, not to hunt. And so traffic you send there, whether that's financing opportunities, maybe you want to show people different equipment stuff. Maybe it's going to be the Little League team you sponsor and you have their pictures there. Maybe there's things like, meet our team and this is who's coming to your house. We sent you, a page. Whatever it is you're using to drag traffic into your website. Community engagement stuff, especially, have a voting contest, have a cutest pet contest. I don't care. Be creative with it. But use your website as a tool, not a billboard. And then they have a relationship with you. 9 times out of 10, people don't have a need. We are an undertaker industry. Nobody is passionate about what we do until it's busted.
Yeah.
So of course, what are you doing to maintain people's engagement in the times they don't have busted anything?
Right.
And when they do have that, how do they remember you when they get to that page? Or are they already searching you by name because you've already forged a relationship with them over the fact that you also support the Humane Society, or you're on the chamber together, or you also host our son's Little League team? Whatever it is that you're doing to remain relevant in the top of their mind, honestly.
Yeah. So when this gets released, it'll be a couple months from when we're talking right now. So of course, everything could change. But what are your biggest things about AI and AI search right now?
Well, I think I've seen a lot of stuff out there that's very much like the sky is falling. And I do follow this stuff closely, of course, because it affects our business quite a bit. But so far, the majority of search that's affected by AI, we're seeing, still relies heavily on Bing and Google for anything they're pulling from. And so that's still your core right now, is making sure that you're following Google's guidelines and all of their updates. And of course, getting into, best practices for that and making sure that your Google business profile is up to date, that you're fighting spam in the area so that you're coming up a lot sooner, all the basics that you should be doing already. And so when I have contractors who are very much like, oh my gosh, like what's going on for AI? Well, first off, any searches I do on you, if you're already coming up in those markets and you already have stuff, that's a big deal. The only thing I can recommend that is changing the game a little bit is things like Reddit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to see some of the conversation on there. So if you're going to talk about content, getting involved in Reddit, they're pulling a lot of their information from
How do
Reddit
you recommend that? And so So I ask Eric Thomas this question all the time because I am actually an avid Reddit user. I tell my husband every night, I'm going to Reddit embed it. That's like the last thing that I do is get on Reddit. And my Reddit channels, I know not everybody uses Reddit, but Reddit has communities or sub-communities and people talk about topics. And so it's really fun because it's like you can like read conversations that would typically be on like really niche topics, so like the show that you watch or the book that you just read or like something that maybe none of your friends have in common. So that's how I use Reddit. So like from a contractor's perspective, since it's so anonymous, it's really confusing. And Eric has addressed this with me, but I would love to know, like, what can you do?
I think it's also like, of course, organic Facebook stuff, right? So you're still counting on other people to talk about you, not you talking about you.
Yeah. Okay. So like if your name comes up.
If your name comes up, right? So like right now, I'm a lurker on Reddit. I am not an expert on Reddit in any way, shape, or form. I almost get to the point where you have so many mediums that you're doing. And I talked to you about this before where I'm like, I can't do another one.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, Reddit is very much not a marketing tool for me. It is it's one of my favorite social media platforms to just hang out in.
But it's weird to me. And the reason I bring it up, and I'm like, we'll still do stuff on this as far as if you want to be involved in it. But the reason I bring it up is because more and more of the different GPT tools that we're seeing, even Perplexity and like that, are citing it as a source. And so, it's getting into, they're looking for conversational material that is also validating your existence as a company or as a recommendation.
Yeah.
And so you still have your main sources, of course, things like Google or Bang or anything like that. Of course, you get into Angie's List, you get into Yelp. I still think Yelp and Angie's List are still some of the lowest forms of anything you can be involved in. But again, it's just another medium that I think that we're going to see, and there's going to be better ways to go market. I defer to Eric, of course, because he probably has an entire page based on Red Robin.
Well, I was talking with Josh Crouch the other day, and we were doing a webinar together, and what he said, which was really cool to me, and I didn't know this, is that Google purchased or like bought some data from Reddit, basically for AI to see how people talk to each other. So it doesn't surprise me that AI is pulling things from Reddit, and Reddit also is.
Think of it as like FAQs. You're doing conversational search.
Right. I mean, Reddit is like, it pops up on the top of Google all the time. And so when you search anything, like you're trying to prove to your spouse that they're wrong, it's like a Reddit, no, I've never done that. But like, it's like a whole Reddit thread, which also is a good reminder that those are just other people trying to prove you wrong. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. But
I've troubleshooted so many things on Reddit before though, too. Even with my car, there's like so many great groups for that. So I imagine just like with contractor, like we did that. I did a lot of research when I got a roof for my house, and a lot of it came from Reddit though, too.
Interesting.
Some of the customer reviews on the company we're looking at was a national company. So of course there was a lot of feedback on how they were good, how they were bad. So I can see how it can be used as a tool. It's not exactly like a forum where you can have a business page and really talk about yourself, but it's really where people are looking for recommendations and saying, hey,
having conversations.
It's very much similar to Facebook communities in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Ooh, so interesting. Okay. So tell me the marketing trend that you're seeing the most of. I mean, obviously AI, but like something, and this will be the last hard question that I ask you, but like, is there something that people
hard for the rest soft?
Actually, I have one more hard question, but like, is there something either besides AI that people are like wanting more and more of or keep asking, or just like a question that you get all the time? Like I know, because I don't do websites at all. I know the question when I hired a web person, what I wanted them to do, but I'm curious of like what you hear all the time.
Well, as far as, because I'm going to take this two ways, because your question could be like multiple layered. So one of the trends, which you're already kind of aware of, because this kind of gets into your wheelhouse, where I'm seeing a lot of growth is using AI for community mentions on Facebook.
Okay.
So like there's different tools out there that allow you to automatically respond unless you have somebody on your staff who you're paying full time to just troll Facebook looking for any time somebody asks for a contractor. A lot of neat tools out there that allow you to tag certain groups.
Yeah. Do you have one? Because Josh and Tersh just
I have Josh and Tersh's. I know you do too.
Yeah, I love that one. We just
there's a couple other ones out there that people are using that not just like alerts you when those conversations are going, but will automatically respond and say, choose Vincent Seating and Plumbing, your best choice. And it'll just give your website and it'll just kind of keep you part of the conversation. They're not engaging and talking to people on the thread. they're just allowing you to post on that thread like you would if you own the business. So if you're seeing somebody say, what do you think about plumbers in the area? What's the best one? And it's automatically going to put your name in that conversation, because there's tons of people who are looking for referral marketing on those community groups. And that is a great way to pick up low hanging fruit, just to even keep your name out there. So even if it's not that person using you, it's people that are like roll trolling those comments, looking for recommendations.
Right. It's so good to be referred in a group. That tool is called Tap Recon. That's the one that Josh and Tersh just released. So you can Google it or search one of them in their Trades Automation Pro is where they sell that. Little shout out.
That one's a trending one that I think we're going to hear more and more about. And so like we're looking at adding that to our features package for some of our stuff. So we'll see where that goes. I want to promise this to our client, but I would love to add that to our social media services as a service. So like set that up. So that's at least the goal. We'll see what happens this summer. Summer is my favorite time because of course that's our rebuilding time. So like everything in our business we want to do that we have no time during the spring and fall. We get into because everybody's busy.
Right. And there's no conferences. Well, there's not as many.
Everybody's busy because it's hot out. And so it just becomes, it's like teacher's hours, I guess, is the best way.
Right.
And as far as questions with web stuff, I'm kind of curious to where you're going with it, because there's a lot of different things I get all day long. So I
guess maybe it's like the thing that everybody wants. It's like, okay, so if somebody wants social media, they're like, can we go viral, or how can we go viral, or how are we going to get leads from this? Like the questions that it's not like, that's not really what social media is about. Like you're not really going to get lead from your organic social. We're not trying to go viral. That's not really the point. So is there something like that you always get? You can correct it right now. Yes. This is your opportunity.
So I think I kind of addressed it earlier. So like anytime I'm talking with any contractor about expectations, because we really, really care about expectations, because I do feel like a lot of people, contractors specifically, are oversold on what their expectations for digital marketing should be. It is one piece of several layered pieces. And if the only thing you're counting on is having a Facebook page and a website, then you're missing out, because it needs to have like, what are you doing in marketing physically? Like, what are you doing? Do you have mailers? Do you have lead behinds? And even if you don't have a budget for billboards, let's talk about what you're doing for door hangers, lead behinds, things that you can get off of Canva for like nothing.
Yeah.
And it's that type of grind that I don't see a lot of new contractors wanting to do.
Yeah. And I love this. This is your
hot
take.
Frustrates me. And I get it. Running a business is hard and you're exhausted. But if you're talking about all of the guerrilla marketing efforts that really build upon everything else you're doing, you're talking about equipment stickers. You're talking about postcard leave behinds. You are as big or as small as you want to portray your business. I work with companies who have 4 guys, and you know what? They brand themselves to the ninth. They have invested in their branding, so they look like 10 times larger than what people assume how big their company is, because we are creatures that make irrational decisions based on irrational filters. And I want to be with something branded and established. I don't want the handyman guy with the white truck that comes up to my driveway wearing a backwards baseball cap from a manufacturer and like a tuck-in shirt and like overalls or whatever. Like something that's not put together. Because first off, if I did call you for that, I'm going to assume I'm going to get handyman prices, and I might dicker you down with some of it.
You can't charge premium looking like that.
Right. And yet that is one of the things that I think people take for granted in their branding. And it plays so much into, like, we've had people that have come to us just to get a website redesigned just so they could sell their business. Because it's part of their business evaluation. And like, that's one of the things that people look for, is a really, really nice website to help with their evaluation, but they're not planning on keeping it. They're planning on using it as just to basically paint the white picket fence, before they sell. And so these are things that are well within everybody's control, but everybody wants to blame everybody else for it. And yet there's no accountability to the fact that everything is accessible to you and how. And if you want to know what offers to do or leave behinds, you can ask that kind of stuff. But even if it's just a leave behind, if you have a friend to refer us, here's a QR code to our website. We'll give you back whatever you want to do. We'll give you $50 off to the person you're giving to, and $50 if you do the referral. Like, come up with your own referral marketing, and then have a door hanger on either side. When you get to that house to do an install, door hanger goes on one side, door hanger goes on the other side of the house. Hey, we're going to be in your neighborhood. And if at any time, just so you know, our van is in your way, there's a baby sleeping, we're too loud, we're going to be doing an install, please call this number and let us know how we can make sure that we're, not inconveniencing you. That's it. You are giving, not taking. And then you have your information. But guess what? You have left an impact at that point, because people are like, I didn't know these guys existed. I actually have stuff I need to do too.
Yeah.
A branded van. I know that's an expensive thing. I get it. But you can look so much bigger with, if people ask me if I wanted to start a business, like right now, if I had, $50,000 and I was starting a business, one of the first things I do is I would get a truck and brand it, actually do a truck wrap, because there is so much built into your brand and your appearance. Like you park 2 of those trucks in a neighborhood, you look massive. People are
Right.
driving through all day long. So, and I think there's just a lot of things that make up what your presence is. And so many people want to blame one aspect or not. And yeah, website companies should be accountable for how you're coming up and stuff. But if they don't have all of the pieces, it's not going to be the complete puzzle you want it to be. And so I feel like that's, I guess, the one thing that when I set expectations, I talk about what are you doing on your end? What are we building on? What are your expectations for this? What city you're in? That's going to be a big one too. You're in the middle of Las Vegas versus the middle of Wisconsin. There's 2 different strategies.
Right.
And, and like how much of your time are you putting into this? Like, what are you doing for your boots on the ground stuff? Are you doing branded stickers? Do you have uniforms? Do you have pictures?
Yeah.
So that's part of it. Is a lot of it's like, what are you putting forth to make this effort? And if you are found on that first page, how are people going to know who you are to click you? Because that's not me, that's you.
Yeah. So much good stuff. But all right. So last question on the Kee to Growth podcast. We ask all of our guests, what is the key to growth?
Consistency. Honestly, it's consistency. I feel like a lot of people get a shiny object. And I think this came up, and actually I Facebook lurk a lot, but I think this came up in one of our controversial posts from some of our favorite controversial people online. But somebody said, the reason trade shows don't work for people, or the reason, anybody going to trainings doesn't work. And the biggest reason is because nobody takes home and implements. If you actually implemented even half the stuff you came back after investing in all those workshops you go to or the trainings or anything like that, where would your business be?
Right.
And we're all guilty of it. I can think of like going from trade show to trade show and be like, oh my God, I should have done this. And like implementation and then being consistent with that is the key to growth, because you are only as successful with bringing new processes in, building new products as the ones you actually pay attention to and stay consistent with. And so I feel like that's one of the key missing pieces, that because we all have busy lives, or we all have ADHD, or maybe we all have like, maybe just shiny object syndrome, whatever, that's one of the things that I feel is missing in a lot of businesses, but you can find it in all the successful ones.
I love it. Colleen, this has been incredible. If people want to find you, where should they
Just Google
look?
Colleen Keyworth.
How can they connect with you? Is there any place that you connect with people the best?
LinkedIn for sure. So connect with me on LinkedIn. I love it. If you're looking for fantastic photos of all of my crazy travels and you want to get together on Instagram, that is like one of my guilty pleasures is Instagram, and of course Facebook. But you can also reach me at my email at ckeyworth@online-access.com.
And then to find online access, it's just onlineaccess.com.
HVACwebsites.com.
Ooh.
That's what happens when you're 25 years old. You get to it first.
Thank you so much for your time. This has been incredible.
Thank you, Jen.